Giant blocks of snow just might get your attention, especially when you see how they've been transformed into works of art. I'm Shanley Vidal, and I'm here at Whittier Park in Winnipeg. That's where Festival du Voyageur is taking place, but it's not the only place where you can see some of these giant snow sculptures.
Out in Sage Creek, we did a blackbird in the marsh with some cattails. We did the maple leafs at the Canadian Museum for Human Rights, which is basically the maple leafs as Canada with open arms receiving immigration individuals. Then we did a couple for the schools from the kids' designs. Actually, we did Groku, who's some Star Wars character I never even heard of before, and an eagle with a nest.
That's David MacNair. He's been creating snow sculptures for 38 years. This one on Provencher and St. Joseph took 45 hours to make. It's called Le Band, and it's based on a drawing by his sculpting partner, Gary Tessier.
We have a bass player, a trumpeter, a guitarist, and a bongo player, and we've got two singers on either end of the block as well, too. Festival is all about celebration, history, and music. And this is sort of a funky way of celebrating that.
The enormous sculpture began as a massive white square on the boulevard. It took a lot of careful work with the right tools to bring out the dimensions of the musicians on each of the four sides.
Basically, you do have a couple of good snow shovels, and then garden edging shovels we use to remove some of the larger snow. We also have some homemade tools that are made out of, this is out of a paper cutting blade. You can see how the edge is really quite roughened up over the years because the snow is really quite hard as well. And then you go into just using smaller angular trowels for the corners and everything, and some fine polishing rasps that are basically, that's a nailing plate with a handle on it, and it's really good for polishing your surfaces. Really what you want to create is shadows, and that's what makes the sculpture sing.
My name is Brianne Lovely-Heckert, and I'm the Executive Director of Festival du Voyageur. It's really a community festival, and we really are part of this environment, this ecosystem in Winnipeg, and so getting to be able to share the joie de vivre through the snow sculptures all throughout the city is part of the job, and part of making sure that we get that spirit out throughout the community. I know February in Winnipeg isn't always the easiest time for folks, so bringing that joie is important for us.
Those sculptures couldn't be made without a lot of snow, something that was in short supply last year.
I mean, it's a world of difference. The park is covered in snow. It's not going to be muddy again like it was last year, so we're really happy to have that ambience back. I know that the snow is such an important part of our festival and part of that experience of being out here, and it's part of winter in Manitoba, so it feels good to have things start to feel a little bit more normal again for us this year.
But what's it like to create these sculptures in the bitter cold?
Well, you don't stand around a lot, and sometimes you just got to do a little jig, keep your feet warm, but you're really layered up well. The wind is a bit of a killer, so sometimes you'll just go and work on the opposite side of the block out of the wind. If the sun's out and you're on the sunny side of the block, it's really, really nice.
I've been sculpting snow for 40 plus years, many of the years with David here. It makes the winters go by a lot faster, and we have fun doing this because there's no other medium that we can make something so big so quickly.
David MacNair and his team will have 8 snow sculptures in total that are part of this year's Festival du Voyageur. Shanley Vidal, CBC News, Winnipeg.